Hey guys, what's going on? Druzy here, back again with another South Park Phone Destroyer video, and another new card has come to Phone Destroyer. This card will not be released until the weekend event that's going to be coming out this weekend, but Elven King Bradley will be the newest card added to South Park Phone Destroyer. Now, a big thing to take into consideration with Elven King Bradley is he is a fighter card. So the biggest fear that I would have had is if Elven King Bradley was a range card to go along with the fact that he boosts the attack damage and increases the range of all ranged allies while he's on the field. That's any range card on the field. Doesn't matter what it is, what theme it is, he will boost their range and damage. So the biggest fear that a lot of people had with Elven King Bradley was it's going to make Blood Elf Bebe basically a legendary card. Which in retrospect, I think that it could possibly have the potential to make Blood Elf Bebe obviously significantly better or stronger, which is a scary thought and scary proposition to even make. But I think that the biggest takeaway from this is that he is a fighter card, so he has to be up close and personal attacking. It doesn't feel like his health scaling is extremely high. It feels fairly low, so it seems like he could die relatively quickly, give or take. He is a rare card, so he's not going to be super overpowered. He's not an epic or a legendary card that's just doing all this ridiculous boosting and assistance to the range cards. But I definitely feel like he could make some range cards a little bit stronger or better when he's on the field. He is a cheap cost at 3 energy, so it looks like you can get him back a decent amount of the time. And it looks like you're going to have to use him in multiple waves, not just one specific instance that's just going to make your range cards just that much more devastating. But Fantasy has a lot of decent range cards other than Blood Elf Bebe. You've got, of course, Catapult Timmy, who's actually, I think, underrated in my opinion. You've got a bunch of different cards that they can be paired with. You can look at like Ink and Craig, Medicine Woman Sharon. You can even look at other cards within their own theme. Amazingly Randy. You can look at even, say, Bounty Hunter Kyle from the sci-fi theme, or even something like Big Gay Owl. How could Big Gay Owl be affected by the increased range and things like that? Or even like Robo Bebe, Warboy Tweak, Ice Sniper Wendy. Realistically, how many people are actually playing that? You can look at like Mecha Timmy, just Medusa Bebe, just Cupid Cartman, Youth Pastor Craig. There's a bunch of different options, and yes, even Pope Timmy and Master Ninju. A bunch of different options to see just where he could land. And since fantasy is such a strong theme right now, this just makes it possibly that much better, or maybe doesn't really affect it much at all. I guess we'll kind of see once people get him to a decent level and see where he's at, because in friendly battles, unfortunately, I can only see him at level 3 stats, base level 3 stats. So it's not a great representation or a true representation of how strong he could or could not be just by having him at only base level 3 in friendly battles, because that's the only way I can showcase him as of right now, is recording this video, because he's not released into the game yet. So we're going to try out Elven Bradley with a bunch of different decks, see how well we're able to do with him, and just give you guys a better understanding of if he's going to be a game-changing card or just another basic card thrown into this game. But let's check him out in some matches and see how we do. Alright guys, let's finally see how good or how broken Elven King Bradley could be. And luckily we get him right off the bat. So here's his level 3 stats, 249 health, 55. He adds 17 attack to all range units. So actually I kind of want to see him with Big Gay Owl first. Let's get Elven King Bradley out here. So it looks like, well, I don't know. So Timmy can attack from the new kid. Let's check out Dark Mage Craig. Dark Mage Craig, of course, his range isn't going to be super different. You also see he gives the crown effect. Is definitely what his ability is doing. So that's interesting. Okay, so there Dark Mage Craig is actually attacking with his normal range. Timmy definitely just get back a little bit further. We're just going to rotate through. Got amazingly Randy here.
I feel really sexy. Bless you, child.
I'm going to stomp you into mud.
Elven King Bradley out here. Give Nathan a little bit of boost to damage. Elven King Bradley's going to quickly die to dog poop if we don't stop it. I want to see where Nathan attacks from. So from the new kid, he can hit anyone at the midline. Blood Elf Bebe, of course, is going to be stronger. We're going to get Mackie out here to protect. So Mackie's going to boost the damage there. I don't know. I'm not really seeing a huge difference. I mean, obviously there is a difference. I'm not seeing a huge difference here. If we put catapults in here, he should attack people at the midline. Okay.
I'm gonna beat you like that Sunday school.
Alright guys, we're going to try Elven King out now. Seeing how he does to boost up my Cubic Cartman, different things like that. We're going to just keep trying a bunch of different cards here to see. And now that, since he's a fire unit, we're going to need to be a little bit more defensive with him to try to keep him alive a little bit longer, because that's only going to make him that much stronger. And of course, since I have Elven King Bradley, he's not available to me right now. Most likely be the last card in rotation at this point. And here he is now, he's coming.
Check out this
So let's boost him out. Put him out there. I want to see where Cupid Cartman's going to attack from. So I'm going to put him well behind the new kid. Just kind of see, because remember, Cupid Cartman has really low range. So it definitely increases his range significantly. Let's see what it does for Blood Elf Bebe. She can attack from the new kid to the midline. And it looks like she took about 2 to 3 steps forward from where she was at. Here we get Zen Cartman back out. So it definitely looks like, as long as you have a beefy tank unit, you can really take advantage of him. That increased range. We'll get him back out here. Even though he got poisoned immediately.
Check out this trick. Forgive my sins. Check out this trick.
There we go. Get that attack there.
Whoa, not there.
Oh, not there.
Reincarnation center. Tell me I'm pretty.
Okay.
Namaste.
Call the nurse.
Get a second one here, we will.
I feel really sexy.
Alright, well now we have a better understanding of him. Definitely changes a lot of thought processes here. With the fact that just having a beefy tank in front of him or around him to kind of distract, so Zen Cartman definitely seems to be a positive option. Alright, we're going to try him out with some sci-fi cards now. And as you can see, guys, Visitors is going to be in this deck just to kind of screw around, just to see how much it affects the Visitors as far as the range and stuff like that. But I mean, with like less than 300 health at level 3, now this is base level 3 stats, keep in mind. It's a little bit difficult to really see, to gauge how successful this could or could not be. Just with that aspect here. Alright, so we'll get Osimo out here.
I will be your new best friend.
Definitely looks like things like Catapult Timmy really benefit really well from this.
Moo 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 moo.
That's my dog. Like my rules?
Elven King Bradley's dead. Let's just boost up the visitors, increase their attack speed.
Applaud me. Check out this trick.
Keep amazingly radio here, obviously. We got Tally, we'll get Butters here on Macatemi.
Time to collect.
Check out this trick.
I keep my bells shining.
Dead or alive.
Come on, Bob.
And the item 4000.
So awesome mode definitely feels like it's not going to work as effectively.
Tell me I'm pretty. Elf power forever.
I fight turtles.
Stop it.
But see the visitors range. Still pretty limited. But again, the visitors, a card not a lot of you have.
Reincarnation.
Check out this trick.
Again, this is really hard to really gauge in friendly battles just how effective this card is. It's just you're just gonna need him to be, I feel like in ladder play, to really get a real, true kind of thought process of how effective this card is. It's really, because he doesn't have the stats to the level. I mean, because most people are going to be playing someone like a new card at a level that's significantly higher in Legendary Arena, most likely. You're going to be like level 5, level 6, which is around the time when most of these cards are viable, especially a rare card in Legendary Arena. So you're just going to get a different mindset of that. But, I mean, it's just, I don't know. So it's very hard to gauge kind of how the success and failure of these cards are. Because a lot of times when I play in friendly battles, I think, oh man, this card sucks. And maybe it does in that regard at that time. But then when they get to more of a realistical level base, sometimes you can really gauge if a card is really good or not, because for the longest time, there were a bunch of cards that have been added to this game, other than some of the newer ones that are just flat out terrible and been flat out terrible from the beginning, Classy and Alien Drone, just to name a couple, to the point to where it's like, why did these cards even get put in this game at all? I'm hoping that Elven King Bradley is going to be a changing card for a positive light. The biggest fear, of course, has been that it will make Blood Elf Bebe too strong. But it looks like, for the most part, his stats are so low that at least his survivability is to the point to where I don't think Elven King Bradley is going to be that big of a problem to make Blood Elf Baby that much better. At least that's just what I'm gauging from seeing the matches that we've played thus far. It doesn't look like he's so devastating that there's literally no chance for you to really counter him. It looks like he's fairly counterable, which is at least a positive in that regard. Alright, we at least get Elven King Bradley to start this time, which is a positive. So let's see if we can put something together here.
I keep my bells shining. This, bitch.
I don't really care about new kid damage at this point. Heck out here, Elven King Bradley.
I bathe in your tears. What the fuck is going on?
Let's see how it affects medicine and sharing here. Alright, so Sharon can attack from way back here. That's a positive.
I nurture my tribe. It's me, Alvin I bring you comfort.
More Sharon, keeping my Ink and Craig alive.
I feel really sick.
I nurture my tribe.
Just make sure it's still staying alive. Definitely feels like he benefits Sharon a lot. It's at least what I've gauged thus far.
This
I feel
costume
like he's just
rules.
going to cancel out my Pocahontas Randy right away.
I'm pretty. I keep my bell.
Right.
Reincarnation, baby. I fight turtles.
Okay, we keep Blood Out Baby alive. We get Tally out here.
The calendar foretold it.
Ink and Craig stays alive. So it definitely looks like it benefited Master Woman Sharon quite a bit. Ink and Craig seem to be benefited by the increased range with Keen Elven Bradley. So I'm not saying that the card's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. The card definitely has potential, but he definitely doesn't feel like he's overpowering with the amount of health and survivability that he has. If he has the right amount of units around him or in front of him, it looks like they can really benefit from him. But he's definitely an interesting card, definitely kind of a game-changing card to some degree, just with what he's capable of doing for you. So he's an interesting card for sure. That's not to be understated. But we'll see how well Elven King Bradley actually does as he goes along here within this game. So what do you guys think of the new card, guys? Do you think this is a game-changing card that's something beyond anything we've ever seen? Or are you not really that overwhelmed by him? Honestly, so far right now, I think that he's in a fairly good spot. It's nice to have the increased attack damage, the increased range for the allied range units. But again, he is a fighter unit, so it's going to be harder to keep him alive, being he's not a range unit as well, staying back in the back, just making those range units overpowered. I think that the big fear would have been if he was going to be a range unit, that would have changed everything, and that would have just made him to the point to where he would be almost too strong in my opinion. But let me know down below what you guys think of Elven King Bradley. I'm kind of excited to hopefully get him to a reasonable level and try him out and see how he benefits fantasy cards going forward. Especially, I've been playing a decent amount of fantasy adventure lately, just to see him with Medicine Woman Sharon at a decent level to see if he's actually viable. But thank you guys for the continued support here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and until next time guys, my name is Druzy.